What is up, YouTube? This is another video with a couple of my favorite companies like I did in my last video, but this time it'll be the breakdown instructional video walkthrough on how to build on the BareBones and Unholy V2. They will come in this package right here. This is the copper package. The brass, gunmetal, and stainless steel are all different color boxes. Unholy V2 is all the same. This has been used immensely, so it's not going to come out of the box looking all good and stuff. It's going to look patinaed because I have not cleaned it, but I just wanted to make this video to kind of show people what to expect when you get one, because unlike the goat, raven, hanged, the BareBones is going to be a continued thing. Like they're still being made today. Also, if you have a ghost ship or a big slug, these are pretty much the same tube with different engravings. But let's dive right into it. We're going to start with the Unholy. Going to get a little baggie with your Allen wrench, grub screws, ball bearings, and a replacement, I believe, negative post. This is an aftermarket tip that's on here. It's a red one. That is not what comes with it. It comes with a black. Let's see if I can get it off here. Probably not. Yeah, I can. And that is the cap. That is not going to show up. Unholy V2, like I said, it is dirty. I've used it a lot. And the deck, two-post system, the ball bearing, as you can see in there, is really wild. I got some stupid thing popping up, but I'm going to show you the preferred way to build on it. They actually move in there. It didn't work too well. Anyway, that is the Unholy V2. Not like the Unholy V1 with the clamp system, but we can set that box to the side and show off the BareBones. With the BareBones, let's see if we can get a good look on it. Probably not. Maybe a little closer. You're going to get the little tool to take your button apart, the 18650 2650 adapter, the tube itself, and of course, my threads are still super clean, an extra spring, and the 18650 Delrin adapter. I don't use 18650 in these, so we can set that to the side. I'm not going to change the spring out. Alright, with the Evil Twin, if you watch that video, you want to do the same thing with your BareBones. Let me take this contact out just to show you. This is for 18650 and 2650, since they are shorter than the 2700 or the 21700. But the first thing you want to do when you operate your BareBones, I can actually slide this to the side as well now, is take your little tool, insert it into the two holes, and unscrew your top contact. I'm going to set that down. Now, if you wanted to, that's when you put your top 18650 contact in, like that right there. But we don't need that. That's just if you want to run 18650 or 2650. Also, push this down and take your bottom contact out. You know what? Since we're taking this off, I'm going to put the other spring in it and see what that does. See if it's a different pull. That is your bottom contact. It is a screw with the silver plating right there. Also has the two holes. Take your button apart, insulator, post hole, insulator, threads. Set that down right there. There is your spring, and there is your button, also insulated. Spring has nothing to do with conductivity in this, so it doesn't really matter on that. Let's see. Is there any difference in the springs? I don't think so. But we're going to put the new spring in it just because I took it off, so we might as well. And then you want to take your spring, like so, put it down where that is right there. There's a little lip to it. Line that up in the spring to your post hole, just like that right there. And then when you put the bottom contact in, the reason I tell people to do this is because when shipping, it might have came loose, and you don't want any kind of loose connection whatsoever. You want this, you don't want to over tighten your bottom contact, but you also don't want it sitting just like rattling around and stuff. So what you're going to want to do is take this tool and get it to where it just stops, where you stop turning. You ain't gotta crank it in there, just like that. That's where it stopped at. No cranking it or nothing. And that's your button. A little DeathWish tool. Then you want to take your top contact. If I can get it picked up. Like I said, make sure there's no debris in between them. Make sure they're both clean and sparkly. And you just want to screw your top contact in. Like I said, you don't have to overdo it. It stopped right there. I'm not going to try to torque it or anything. That's where it needs to be. That is it. Put the tool to the side. And also, if you use the 18650, you also don't want to over tighten. You just want to do it to where it is. We're going to go ahead and screw the deck on. Nice and snug. You don't have to over tighten that or anything. Now, here's the thing. Recently, we have found out that the 30Ts 21700, I believe it's made by Samsung. It is Samsung 30T. It's probably backwards to you. With any DeathWish product, you want to run towards the vent hole, which is in the bottom. Little X right there. Positive side, down. Positive, down. And the 30T actually fits right in there. I like to screw my RDA on first, as you should. You should screw your RDA all the way down and then put your button on. And you don't have to over tighten this. Just enough to, there we go. And it's on. Should sit flush or a little bit inside. That's almost flush right there actually. There's a minuscule lip on it. We're going to build on it. Because I did not show the build on the Evil Twin when I made the video. I looked over here because it's my Evil Twin. The Evil Twin comes with an Unholy V2. So if you did see my other video and you were wondering how to build on the Unholy V2, this will show you how right here. Using some flat wire. Oh, that's upside down. FlatWire N90 flaptons, 24 gauge wrapped in 32 gauge, or is it 32 wrapped in, nope, it's 24 gauge wrapped in 32. This is N90 flat wire. This is my favorite wire. I've used a lot of wires in my day of vaping, which has been going on 4 years, and flat wire has been my go-to. You don't like where the tip is, where you want to put your wire back in there to hold it when you put it back in the packaging. You want to go to about right where my thumb is. So you have this much room to wrap it around here so it doesn't spring everywhere and go crazy. You want to go to about right there, snip it off, and that should be enough for both your coils. And then you have this much left over. You just want to take that, wrap it around the little piece that's right there, and it should hold it in place. That way you can easily put it back in the packaging when you want to build again. Flapton N90. It is great stuff. I've only built with it once. This will be the second time. It's phenomenal stuff so far. 3mm screwdriver. And you're just going to... The reason I love this flat wire is because it sits... Like, you don't have to worry about it sliding off your screwdriver or anything because it sits flat on there. And then you want to wrap it 5 times. That's 3. I count the first leg. I count the first time around as 1, even though a lot of people say that doesn't count. But that's what I do. That's 4 right there, and then 5. But sits pretty flush together. Like it's extremely easy to build with. That's why I like it. Plus, it also produces like a champ. Pull that tight on there. You can roll it a little bit, just to give you a little less leg on here. Or if you want more leg, you could do that too. But I like to just have about that much left right there. and then I straighten the top leg out and just cut it flush with the other leg. So you're gonna end up with something like this right here. It's not gonna focus for crap, but you can kind of see that the legs are even and all that. Now here's the cool part about this. With the ball bearings, the way I take it is, you see how this wire goes, this wire goes over the top and this wire comes from the bottom, left side and all that. I take the top, the one that comes over the top, and put it underneath the ball bearing. Then I take the other one and put it over the top of the ball bearing. And it doesn't really matter positioning at the moment, but I will get to that when I make the other one. It sits like that right there. If you can see, it's kind of almost even with the deck. We'll let that sit there for a second while I build this one. Should probably use like a fast forward, but my editing skills are not that good. And on to the second coil, same way. Wrap it up. 4 and 5. I actually cut off too much, so there's going to be some left over. There's a good amount of leg left on this thing. And cut this one flush. The other one, oh, that flew off the table. It's not what you want. Make sure you pick that up so you don't step on it later. It's not fun. I've done it many times. Pull this one tighter. Cut these legs a little bit shorter than the other ones by accident, but it will still work out in the long run when I get to building. Like I said, anytime, like when you're holding a coil, you'll be able to see it when you build it, but the part that is the top coil and then you got the one coming from the bottom right here, you can't really see because it's very little and my hands are massive. But get this one up under here and this one over here. Like I said, I like to do one over, one under with the ball bearing system. It's just a lot easier for me. And I messed this leg up, so we're going to put it back on and pull it with the needle nose, stretch it tight. I'm going to take this other coil out while I do this one, because I messed the legs up, cut them way too short. So hopefully this does not fail with the building. There we go, there we go. One under, one over. Let's bring that up. Set it in right there. Hold it still. And now we can do the other one. I cut the legs super short on this second coil, so it's probably going to be set like exactly where it's at. And it's just going to have to stay there. If I can get up under the ball bearing. There we go. Put your screwdriver back in to give it some support so you don't bend it when you're trying to put it in. And get it in there. There we go. I like to push them pretty much touching the post, so when you go to fire them, you can pull them tight, and that will pull them away from the post, so you don't have to worry about all that. I'll pull this one back a little bit since it has short legs, and that one right there. Now go to the Allen wrench that came in your bag of goodies. You don't have to tighten it down too tight, just enough to where it stops. And then you can put your screwdriver back in and pull them tight so that they are level with each other. See, that one's perfect, but the other one's legs are too long now. So we're going to undo that. But that's exactly where you want that other one at. Tighten that down. Tighten this side back down. And see if we got it now. There we go. It's pretty set. Now what you want to do is take your top cap and put it to where it's going to sit, and look at where the airflow lines up with the coil. I don't know if you can see that, but the coil is right there dead in the middle. That's where your top cap's going to go on. That's where that's going to be set up for optimal airflow and all that good stuff. Now you want to cut your leads, so we'll move this wire down to cut the top lead. Bring the top lead up. You want to cut them as flush to the post as possible, so it doesn't touch the other coil or anything, cause any shorts, any problems. Any excess that's left over, you can just tuck right up into the post holes, because the post holes are massive on this thing. And now we're going to take the coil and move it up so we can cut this bottom lead. The other side is actually flush with the post because I cut the legs so short. But I wish I could show you a better view of this. Now right there. You always, now see, a lead fell down into it. You want to make sure you get your ceramics and get that lead out so it does not cause any problems when you're vaping. Lead is out. Now like I said, you want to pretty much pull these straight out to where they sit almost perfect with the airflow of your RDA. Some RDAs are different. Some of them you don't want them to sit right there, but with the Unholy, that's pretty much the sweet spot. Now you see they're level and almost identical. My camera's not the best. And then you're gonna pulse it. Get your ceramics. Kind of scrape them a little bit so they burn from middle to out. Now this is a 0.1 build on the dot. 5 wrap 3mm is a 0.1 build, and these things produce like it's ridiculous. You'll see. You want to scrape them to get all you can to distribute heat, distribute any hot spots you may have. Like I said, you want them to flare up perfect from middle to out with no hot spots. That's it right there. You'll see, watch. Perfect. Pinch them a little bit, make sure they're together, make sure they're still even, because sometimes when scraping you move it around. You want to make sure they're level with each other, perfectly level with each other, like that right there. Let's see if that messed it up any. Yep, put a hot spot. Scrape a little more. A lot of trial and error when it comes to building coils. Not just with this, not with just with flaptons, but with any coil that you use or build. And with building coils, you can sometimes see where they're heating up too quickly with each other, and you can kind of move them around a little bit, side to side. Maybe pull the leads, not the leads, but pull the coils from apart, because if they're sitting too close together, they'll create a hot spot like that. I'll put this in here and pry that apart. There we go. These 30Ts are phenomenal batteries. You can get a lot of life out of them. I mean, a whole lot. Like, I accidentally ran them down to 3.3 the other day. You want to usually run your batteries to 3.7. Just a rule of thumb, so you don't kill the cells in them. These are almost ready. I've just been messing with them so they... That's it right there. Now, something I like to do is drop a little juice on them so you can wick them right off the back, so you don't have to worry about burning your cotton up. But you just put a little juice on there to cool them down really fast. You're good to go. These things are a lifesaver. Wet Wicks Cotton, Quick Wicks, 3mm. They come looking like a shoelace almost. But that's them right there. They go through your coil, and then you pull that little plastic piece off, and you're pretty much wicked up. You can trim them a little bit, but pull that through, spread it out, good to go. I'll show you on this one. Put it through. Hold your cotton sometimes, because sometimes they like to slide the whole way through. Flick your cotton, make sure it's all puffy. Pull it back and forth to make sure that it's tight in there, because you want it not like stuck tight, but you want it tight enough to where it's not gonna easily, like if you barely pull it, you don't want it to just slide out. And you also don't want it to slide out when you're cutting, because sometimes your scissors aren't sharp enough and they'll pull it out, and you just don't want that. You tuck your cotton in. The way that I've been using for years now is the Scottish roll technique. Is you just leave, it's just like an arch. A good little arch in there. Good to go. You got a little arch there. Turn it around. Arch there. Juice it up. I can't speak more highly of Wet Wicks. This stuff holds so much juice. They actually did a test one time and took one pad. It wasn't the Quick Wicks, but they took one single pad of Wet Wicks, and a whole 30 ml of juice was soaked up in it. Let's see how this fires. Perfect. When you go to fire it, you want, for optimal, like you can tell you built it right, you wicked it right, you did everything correct when it comes out the sides and the top, and it makes almost like a spade. But straight up, that's what I wanted. So that's it, guys. If there's any questions, comments, concerns, you can message me on Facebook, Jordan Caparel. Gotta get my lid back on. Cotton has no break-in time, but that is how you do it. I'm sorry this was a 25-minute long video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps you. Like I said, any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Always use battery safety. With a hybrid mod, you always have to make sure that you're protruding 510. The way these are made, they go together, so the protruding pin is always there. So just always be safe when using a mech mod of any kind, not just a hybrid mod, just a mech mod in general. Know your battery law, Ohm's law, all that good stuff. Have a great night, great day, whatever it is when you're watching this. And like I said, any questions, concerns, feel free to message me, comment down below, and I will help you in any way I can. Much love, peace out, vape on.